Hi everyone, it's Paul from Make or Create, and in this video we've partnered with one of our favourite charities, WizKids, to bring you the power of coding while at home. So I'm going to show you how you can create your very own computer game while you're at home. So first things first, we need a device that is connected to the internet, whether that be a laptop or a smartphone or a tablet. And we're going to be using a website called Make Code Arcade, and this works really well on a laptop. It will work on another device, your smart devices, but it is better on a laptop, and we're going to be using it through a web browser. So once we've got our web browser opened and we found Make Code Arcade, we are going to look at a screen that is very similar to mine. And with mine, I have quite a few projects that I've been doing, loads of different games and so on. And there's loads of tutorials down towards the bottom as well. But in this video, we're going to click on this big orange new project box here where I'm moving my cursor. So once we're at this point, we're just going to give it a click and it'll ask us to name our project. So what we're going to call our game. We can change this. So you don't have to name it right now, but you can do if you've got a name, and I'm going to call mine just my name for the time being, and I'm going to show you how you can change that later on. So I've just put my name in, and I'm going to click the green button that says create. And then it'll load up like this, and we're going to be using block-based coding to create our games today. So first things first is we've got our on start block, and we're going to put some blocks in here. And the first thing I'm going to look at is in the sprite section, because we're going to create a hero first. So we're going to create the character that's going to be controlled. So I'm going to look at this block here that says set my sprite red and blue block, and it says player at the end. So I'm going to click on this and I'm going to put it in on start. And you can see that it's got a yellow highlight around it because I've clicked on it and I've dropped it in to the on start. If I click on the on start's highlighted. So if you ever see that yellow highlight around a block, it just means that you've selected that block. Okay. And the character I'm going to create myself. I'm going to create a digital character of myself. So to do that, when we look at this blue part of the code in here, there's a grey box. And if we tap on this grey box, it brings up an editor. And in this editor, this is where we can create our own character if we want to draw our own character. Also at the top, it's got a gallery selection here where I'm moving my cursor. This allows us to choose some pre-selected characters. So if you're not very confident in drawing or being able to create your character, you can scroll through here and maybe find a character that you like. Or if you click back at the top where it says editor, you can have a go at drawing yours. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to draw myself. So if you are going to draw yourself, have a go at the editor, and I'll go through some of the key features. So we've got a pencil here where I'm just moving my cursor right at the top. We've also got an erase tool. So if you make a mistake, you can rub out. We've got, if I click on this one, this is our shape tool. We've also got our fill tool. So if we draw a shape, we can fill it instead of coloring it in. Really quick way of doing it. We've also got another tool here, which is our circle tool, which allows us to draw circles. So if I click on this one, it allows us to draw circles. Also, if you do draw something and like this, and you've made a mistake, my favorite buttons, if you don't want to use the erase tool, my favorite button down here is the undo button. So if I click on this, it undoes everything I've done. And the arrow pointing the other way is the redo. So if you undo something by mistake, you can always redo it and put it back in. If you are struggling with straight lines, there is a straight line tool. It draws them diagonally and it draws them horizontally. It'll also do them vertically. So you've got loads of different tools there if you're struggling. if you're not confident in your drawing. Also, this is a really good tool. If I just draw something really quickly, it's called, this one here, it's called your marquee tool. So this allows you to select and highlight something and then move it around your screen. So if you've drawn something and you've realized it's not quite in the right place, you can highlight it and you can move it into the right place, which is a really, really good tool to have. So just undo them. And then underneath there is you have your colors. You have a variety of different colors. The only drawback is you can't change the colors. Okay, so these colors, you can't have any different ones. You have to use the pre-selected colors. So I'm going to go with myself. So I'm going to start at my feet and work my way up. So I'm going to give myself some black shoes. And all I'm doing is I'm tapping on the squares to fill them in. So I've got it set to cover 4 squares. So you can see there's little squares at the back, and my pixel uses 4 of those little dots at the back. So I'm just roughly drawing it, and as I'm drawing, I might make mistakes or I might make some changes. So I'm thinking my legs look really, really skinny there. So I'm just going to make my legs and feet look a little bit bigger. Okay, I'm going to go for a brown belt, and then I'm in orange. So I'm just going to give myself a quick body. And some shoulders. And some arms. And a bit wider. A quick head. And some eyes. Okay, so that's a really, really quick character design. You might look at it and think, oh, I need to make some changes, which is fine. You can always use the erase tool, which is right here, and make it look more central. So I'm looking at my head, and my head wasn't quite central, so I'm just going to move my eyes slightly. So it could look like this. So it looks like I am looking the direction I'm going to be walking. You can do loads of different things. You can go in detail. So I know I've got white writing on my t-shirt, so I'm just going to put some white blocks in. So you can add details as you go in along once you've done your design. So I might give myself a belt buckle, all these different types of things that once you've got your design, you can throw it in. So I'm just going to leave my character there. I'm happy with it. And once I'm happy with it, I can click this green done button at the bottom. And I can see now my character is in this little box. And what I'm going to do as well, which is a really good tip, is renaming this box here where it says My Sprite. So this is a variable. So we're just going to rename this variable so we know later on when we're coding which things we're moving and what's going to overlap and so on and so forth. So to rename it, I've clicked on it, and I'm just going to click on this box here that says rename variable. And if I tap on it, it allows me to change it. So I'm just going to put in my name and put it in. So now it says set Paul. So I know that this character is me. What we're going to do now is allow this character to move. And we need to go into this control section here. And if we tap on this control section, gives us loads of different options. But we're going to look at this first bit of code in here that says move my sprite with buttons, and it's got a plus sign. Drag it in. And what will happen is we'll get a little notification. We'll get a little hazard sign to say there's something wrong with our code. And this is just because I've changed the variable to have my name. So if I click on the little drop down, I can find my name or whatever you've called your character, drop it in, and the little hazard changes and goes away. So now what we can do is if I click to this side button here, which has got an arrow on it, it'll bring up a little demonstration of my game. So I've got my character in the middle of it, and if I use the arrows, I can move my character around the screen. Okay. So with my character, as you can see, he can go off the screen and disappear. Okay, so we need to put a little bit of coding in to stop our character moving off the screen so we can see him at all times. And to do this, we're going to go back into the sprite section, and we're going to scroll down, and we're going to see under the effects section, we've got set my sprite, stay in screen, and then it's got a little toggle that says off. So I'm going to click and drag this one in and put this underneath where I'm moving. And again, a little hazard sign will pop up. And I'm going to change that to me. And then I'm going to toggle at the end where it says off. I'm going to toggle that to on. And this time, when I move my character around, he can't move off the screen. Okay, so we never lose our character. He stays within the screen, and we're not going to lose him. He's not going to disappear. He's going to be on the screen at all times. So what we're going to do now is we're going to change the background because it's very plain at the moment. It's just a plain black, dark background. And this is under the scene section. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to choose this one here that says set background color to, and it's just got a gray bubble at the end. So I'm going to drag this one in. I'm going to put it to the top of my code, and I'm going to click on the gray bubble. And it gives us some preset colors that we can change. So I'm going to choose a nice, bright, vibrant background color. I'm going to go for green. I'm going to have a nice green background so my character stands out. And now we can see our character. We can move around and we can see him a little bit better than just being a plain black background. So we've got the basics of our game started. We've got a background, we've got a character, he moves and he stays within the screen. What we're going to think about now is a collectible. So we're going to have our character collecting an item, a food item, coins, whatever it might be, whatever you want your character to collect. So to do this, I'm going to go back into the sprite section, and I'm going to choose the block that we chose first, which is this one here, which is the set my sprite, sprite of kind, and it says player at the end. I'm going to click on this one, and I'm going to put this to the bottom of our code. And this time, we're going to choose something that we're going to collect. So we need to do two things to this code. Where it says player at the end, we need to change this to a food. Doesn't necessarily have to be a food that you're collecting, okay? It's just so the game knows that this is something you're going to be collecting. So once you've done that, you're going to click where we clicked before, and it takes you to the editor. So if you want to, you can design your own collectible, whether it be coins, gems, jewels, whatever it might be. Or you can go to the gallery, and they've got loads of food, they've got other people, they've got princesses, houses, ghosts, fish, loads and loads of different things. There's a huge selection of different items that you can choose. for me, I'm going to collect some pizza. So I'm going to click on this one. And I'm then going to click done. So now, when the game updates, the pizza appears. But as you can see on my demo here, the pizza is covering my character and nothing happens when my character touches it. So we need to write some code using blocks now to say, when my character touches the pizza disappears. So, to do this, it's very simple. We're going to go to the sprite section again, and we're going to find an overlap. So we're going to scroll down, and there's an overlap section. Here's this blue one that says, on sprite of kind player overlaps other sprite of kind player. And it looks a little bit like a crocodile mouth because we're going to stick some code inside there. So I'm going to click, and I'm going to drag this in. So now what I'm going to do is, where it says player at the end, I'm going to click on player, and I'm going to change that to food. Okay, because we've designed pizza, and that says now when our player touches the pizza, something's going to happen. So what's going to happen for me is I'm going to go to the info section, and I want to say when my player touches the pizza, he gets 1 point. So to do that, I'm going to click on this one here and take it in that says change score by 1. I'm going to drag that in, and I'm going to place it in. So now every time my player touches the pizza, he's going to change the score by 1. So if you look at my demo now, in the top corner, the score is just going up and up and up and up and up and up. So we need to fix that to say you only get 1 point for every time he touches the pizza. And to do that, we're going to go into the sprite section, and we're going to move our pizza around to random places. So when he overlaps it, you'll only get 1 point, and the pizza will move around the screen, so you have to keep chasing the pizza to collect it. So to do that, we're going to click on this one here under the physics section that says set my sprite position to X, and it says 0, and Y, and says 0. So we're going to drag this one in. I'm going to put this one under the change score. And we're going to do a little bit of maths here as well. So we're going to go into the maths section next, and we're going to fill up these 2 little 0 bubbles here with a bit of maths. So we're going to go into the maths section, which is purple. And we're going to find a bubble, there we go, that says pick random 0 to 10. And I'm going to click on this, I'm going to take it in. And you can see how it's put a yellow highlight around that bubble and a red dot. And that means when we drag it to something that it can be put in, you can see how it wants to snap it into a bubble. So we're going to take it to the first 0. I'm going to snap it in. And we're going to go back to the math section, and we're going to get the same one again. It says pick random, and we're going to put that in the other 0 next to the Y. So now, when we look at my code, it says set my sprite position X, pick random 0 to 10, and pick random 0 to 10 again. And what we're going to do in these bubbles, the first one is going to say 0, and then in the second one, I'm going to put 120. And then again, in the Y one, I'm going to leave the first bubble as a 0. And then the second one, I'm going to change to 120 again. And this just relates to the size of the screen. And this is going to pick at random a number between those, so between a 0 and 120, and then again 0 to 120, and it'll place the pizza around the screen in random positions once it's been collected. So what I need to do is check my game. So I'm just going to refresh it, and as I move my character around, you can see the pizza disappears, goes in a random position, my score goes up by 1. And we'll keep going infinitely because we've not set a timer. We've not set a maximum number. So it's just going to keep going around and around and around. So what we need to do now is go into the info section. And I'm going to put a time limit on. And it's under the countdown section. And it says here, start countdown, and it's automatically set to 10. So I'm going to drag this in, and I'm going to put this into the on start section. And I'm going to change my time because I don't think 10 seconds is long enough. I'm going to change it to 30 seconds. So I'm going to give the people playing my game 30 seconds to collect as much pizza as they can. So if I just give a quick refresh, now you can see that I've got a countdown clock counting down from 30 seconds. I've also got a score in the top right-hand corner. The pizza's moving around into random places, and I've got myself a little game. But you might be thinking, what else can I add to this game to make it better? Could I add other characters? Could I add more pizza, different food, different scores? Maybe sound effects. All these different things will make your game better. So I'm going to cover a couple of those. So what I want to do is I want to know when I've collected a piece of pizza. So to do that, I'm going to put a sound effect on so the person playing my game knows they've collected the pizza because they're going to hear something. They're going to have an audio clue. So in the music section, I'm going to go for this top one that says play sound and it says ba-ding. So I'm going to click on this and I'm going to put this in my overlap section. So in the blue section, I'm going to put it in here. If you click on the end bit where it says ba-ding, it gives you a load of sound effects that you can choose from, whether it be ba-ding, wah, 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 or power up, power down, loads of different ones. I'm going to go for power up. I'm going to place that in. And this means now if I click on the little refresh button at the side to refresh my game, I will get an audio response to say I've collected it. So some issues people might have is if you're not getting any audio through. So I'll just give that a quick refresh. Some of the troubleshooting issues, because I'm collecting it there and you can't hear any sounds. Check the audio's turned up on your device. Also, under this demo of my game here, we've got a few icons. We've got a stop button, got a refresh button, and loads of other different ones. But in the middle, you've got a speaker. If you click on the speaker, you can see I've got sound now. If you click on it and you can't see those little lines coming out of it, it means it might be muted. So let's give that a refresh. And now, as soon as I touch, I'm getting audio through to say I've collected my pizza. What you can do as well is change the score. So it might be that you don't want people to be getting 1 point for collecting the pizza. It might be more than one. So you might change it to 5. Loads of different ideas. You could also have a bad guy chasing you around the screen. So when they touch you, you lose points, or you have different types of food in there. So I'm going to show you really quickly how to have another overlap in there that takes points away. So if we go back to the sprite section and we scroll down till we find that overlap section and we click and take this overlap in, drop it into a bit of space on our screen. And this time, if we go, these are all color coordinated as well. So if we go to info, which is the peachy color, and go down to change score. So we're just repeating the process, change score, and put it in. But this time, if we tap on it and we put a minus first and then a number, this is going to take away points from our score. So same again, I'm going to put in a music. So I'm going to go to the music section, take a music block, put it underneath my score. And this time I'm going to put a power down because it's taken away and it matches my power up. So I'm going to go for a different sound. So it gives a different audio cue. And I'm going to get this one again, where we got our set sprite and the pick the random numbers. So that's in the sprite section. And it's the third one down that says set my sprite position X and Y. I'm going to drop that in there. And these purple bits are in the math section. Same again, pick random and put one in that one. And another one in this one. And again, same numbers, 120 and 120. So I've got my overlaps, and this time I'm going to, where it says player at the top, I'm going to change it, and I'm going to change it to an enemy because this is going to take points away from us. And we've got our overlap. And now we need to think of what is going to take points away from us. So that's in the sprite section. And it's this top one again that says set my sprite to sprite of kind player. And we're going to drop this one into our on start section. And this time, it's not going to be a player. So at the end where it says player, we're going to change it, and we're going to change it to what it said in our overlap to be an enemy because it's going to take points away from us. And same again, we're going to click on the square and we can draw, we can create an enemy, or we can go to the gallery and choose one. So I'm going to look down to see what I might. I'm going to go for a ghost, I think, because I'm scared of ghosts. So I'm going to put that in. And at the side where we've got our demo of our game, I'm just going to click on the little refresh button and just mute that. So now we can see is our pizza is going around everywhere, but our ghost is staying in the same position. So just hit stop on that. So we've got somewhere in our code, we've got an issue. So this is where we need to have a look through, see what we've got, see if there is any, if we put it in the wrong place, have we done something wrong, and have a little bit of a problem solving. This is a great way of creating computer games because it's called beta testing. So when you create a game, you always then look at issues that might occur. What have we done wrong? Is there something we've put in the wrong place? All these different types of things. So it might be that I've put something wrong, and I have. So I've missed a step. And it's here. I've got my sprite and I've got my sprite there. So I need to click on this bubble here and change this overlap to say my sprite 2. And if I press refresh, this time it works perfectly. No issues. When I touch a ghost, I lose points. When I touch a pizza, I gain points. So if you ever make a mistake, go through, look at what you've got, look at the code you've got in front of you and see if there's any mistakes. What I could have done is like I did with the variables before, rename them. So I'm going to rename this variable pizza, and I'm going to rename this one ghost. So now I know when I look at my overlaps, I'm not made any mistakes. Everything matches up. So if you ever get a little issue like that, have a look at your coding. Have you made any mistakes? Have you clicked these bubbles to be the same? Have you put something slightly in the wrong place? Have a look through. Always keep testing your game. I can't recommend how important it is to keep testing your game at the little side here, in the little demo bit, making sure everything that you've put in works. So that's the end of this video. So I hope you've had fun. Have a look at loads of different coding bits in here. See if there's anything you want to add to your game, make it different. Adds different stuff in, so different sound effects. Is the game going to be longer? All these different types of things. Have a play around and then keep checking your game to see if it works. What new stuff you've added, check it. If it works, fantastic. So that's the end of putting our game together. What I need to show you is how to export it, because you can share these games with all your friends. So at the top, you've got this share button here. If we click on this share button, it allows us to share the project and allow us to rename our project. So I'm going to put in Paul loves pizza. So that's going to be the title of my game, because I'm collecting pizza. I'm going to put Paul loves pizza. And then if I click this publish button here, it gives us the option to share it in loads of different places, to social media. Also, if you keep this URL, which I've just highlighted, you can go back to it and edit it and make changes to it, or you can text it to people. You can do loads of different things. So you can say, look what I've created, play my game. And all you need is this URL here that's highlighted. Don't worry. If you share that URL with people, if you share that web address, they get their own kind of copy of it, so they're not going to be able to change your game that you've created. They can make changes to it, but them changes are just to them, not the game that you created. So don't worry. A lot of people always say, well, if I share it to them, they're going to change my game. Some people could ruin it. Don't worry. If you share that URL with anybody, it's not going to affect the game that you've created. Okay, so I've been Paul from Make or Create. I hope you've enjoyed the video. Please share the games that you've made from this video as well on social media. I'm sure WizKids and Make or Create would love to see them. Thank you very much.